Okay, 2-2, let's do a little review and see how you're doing. Remember, don't memorize like where the 1, 2, 3, 4 are. They're going to keep moving around. Okay, so let's see what you know. So 1, we said yesterday, how do we mark parallel lines? Okay, so I'm actually going to target that first. Marking parallel lines, either you see arrows, so notice now you only see this arrow on one end. Okay, that's going to mean parallel. Or I flat out have to tell you. So it's going to be the arrows that you see in this picture, or I flat out have to tell you. So you're told that A is parallel to B. And let's call this line A and this line B. Okay. All right. So we've established that those are parallel one way or the other. So now we're going to be very specific. Are these types of angles equal, or are they just pairs of angles and they need an and sign between them? Well, remember, if those lines are parallel, cut by a transversal, which remember, this one would be the transversal here, okay? And if those lines are parallel, every set, okay, of these new 4 that we learned yesterday is equal, okay? All right, so why don't you test yourselves on these, okay, and see how you're doing. So here we go. Vertical angles. Angle 1 would equal angle 2. Angle 8 would equal angle 5. Angle 3 would equal angle 6. And angle 4 would equal angle 7. All right, alternate exterior. Nope, alternate interior is next. So alternate interior, there should be 2 sets. Angle 2 would equal angle 3. And likewise, angle 4 would equal angle 5. All right, now alternate exterior. Again, there should be 2 sets. Angle 1 should equal angle 6. And angle 8 should equal angle 7. Corresponding. There should be 4 pair for corresponding here. Remember, you want them to be in the corresponding or like the same place from the vertex. So angle 1 would equal angle 3. Angle 5 would equal angle 7. Angle 8 would equal angle 4. And angle 2 would equal angle 6. Okay. All right, then angle measurement relationships. Okay, this should be pretty quick. It's just seeing if you remember what went on yesterday. So remember, vertical angles are always, sometimes, never. That's what we're looking for. Those kind of things. Vertical angles are always equal. And what's that other word for equal? We've got to know that word, congruent. Okay, always equal or congruent. Versus corresponding alternate interior and alternate exterior angles are congruent only if the lines are parallel. Okay, like on our front page, those are lines A and B were parallel. And then all other pairs with parallel lines and a transversal. So again, as long as you have parallel lines and a transversal, then all other pairs that you can come up with are supplementary. Okay, they add up to 180. All right, so then practicing with some of our angles. All right, so when you see these problems that say find all missing angles, we're being very literal with the word all. Okay, so in this picture, in this first picture, I see 8 angles. They need to all be labeled. Okay, so this first one was given to us, and I'm going to mark that it is vertical to angle 5. Vertical angles are always equal, so I know this is also 153 degrees. Okay, since angle 5 and 4 are alternate interior. Okay, this would also be 153 degrees. And why are these equal? Remember, those arrows mean that those are parallel. They do have to be parallel for those to be equal to each other. Again, 3 and 4, where they are vertical. So I know this one is 153 degrees. Now, doing the other 4 that we don't have filled in yet, you should be thinking that any of these, such as this, are supplementary, right? They add up to 180. So if you take 180 minus 153, that would tell you this angle 2 is 27 degrees. And then you can kind of work yourself through the rest of the angles like we just did with the 153. So for instance, we could say angle 2 and 6 are vertical, and therefore this one would also equal 27 degrees. Just for practice, we could say angle 2 and 1 are corresponding, and since the lines are parallel, this would be equal to 27 degrees. We could say angle 2 and 7 are alternate exterior, and since the lines are parallel, these would both be equal to 27 degrees. But you could also just do all the straight angles, right? Subtract from 180 there, and so on and so forth. So every single one of them, every single one of those angles should be filled in a problem like this when it says find all the angles. Okay, so we're being very literal. All right, so in the next picture, again, I see 8 angles, okay, if you will. And so this is going to have some review stuff in it. So X is X degrees, okay, given to us right there. So I'm going to do that same thing, right? If you start marking all of the angles because of these parallel lines, that should be equal to each other, right? This one and this one are vertical. This last one and this one are corresponding. This one and that one are vertical. Well, that should mean all of those are X degrees, right? Because they're all marked equal to each other. And likewise, if you go back and do what we just did on the last one, here's a, pick up my pen, there's a half circle. That means it's a straight angle, right? And how do you find the supplement of, well, when it was 153, you did 180 minus 153. How do you find the supplement of X? You should be doing 180 minus X. And therefore, that means this angle is quantity 180 minus X, quantity degrees. Okay, now I will get rid of that so I don't confuse you. And then let's just think about, we'll just use a different symbol. If I say this angle is vertical to this one, those two should be equal. Likewise, the last one I marked and this one corresponding, so they're equal. And this one and the one across from it are vertical, so they're equal. So literally all of the rest of these should say 180 minus X quantity degrees. Okay, so however many angles are in the picture is how many you need to solve for. Okay, so practice that up.